want to say thanks for everyone being here. And then to get things kicked off here, just to let everybody know, since you are here, we want to say thank you by giving you guys some exclusive discounts that you'll be able to claim at the end of the webinar. So stick around and figure out how you're able to claim those, and we'll get started here. So just a little bit about myself really quick. My name's Carson Butcher. I'm the VP of Marketing here at CarbonWeb. I've been with the company for coming up on 3 years here in September. And through all this time, I've been using Monday.com in my daily work. So I can definitely speak to the power that it's helped me, do my work. And ultimately, we're really excited to bring this webinar to you. So yeah. And then just to give everybody a little breakdown on what we're going over today. To start things off, I'll be kicking it off, letting you guys know a little bit about who we are here at CarbonWeb and how we got started with Monday.com and kind of where our roots lie there. And then from there, I'll pass it over to Shaked Hershkovitz from Monday.com, their head of global pre-sales. He'll give you guys an in-depth overview of the Monday.com platform, and yeah, talk a little bit about the power of Monday.com. From there, Jack Kubicek, our CEO and founder, will introduce you guys all to the Carbon Suites and talk a little bit about what's planned with those for the future. Next, from there, he'll go over the overview of this CarbonCRM Suite specifically and talk a little bit about the core features as well as some of the functions of that solution. And to close things off, Ricky Tomer, our VP of Sales, will explain the process, our process in depth, and kind of discuss what the next steps for your business could be as it relates to CarbonWeb. And then to finish things off, Mitch McLaughlin, our COO, founder, and our solutions expert, will kind of join us with the team to answer any questions you guys may have at the end with a little open Q&A. So be sure to ask any questions that you guys may have. And then additionally, Molly Adams will be, who's our social media manager. She'll be in the chat to answer any questions that pop up during the webinar. And if there's any that she thinks we should defer till the end, then we'll be sure to get to those at the end. So yeah, without further ado, let's jump on into this. So a little bit about who we are. Here at CarbonWeb, we got started a little over 6 years ago as a digital marketing and web development company. And throughout this time, we've really been using Monday.com to manage all parts of our business. And over time, we've seen that grow. And this is what's led us to become a Monday.com certified partner, and ultimately kind of brought us to the point where we've begun to share the value of Monday.com with our clients and partners. So we've seen the growth that Monday.com has experienced, and we're kind of at that point where now we're ready to share that with all of you. And so we're really excited about that. And then to give you guys a little bit better understanding of who we are as a company, ultimately what we seek to do is create physical building blocks for your business that are going to enable you guys to scale while helping to streamline and reduce spent time and resources. So we're really about optimizing your digital process is really what we're here at CarbonWeb. And then to get everybody familiar a little bit, we just want to get an idea on who's joining us today. So how familiar are you guys with Monday.com? We'll post a little poll really quick, just kind of see where you guys lie. So you can feel free to give us your answers there. Let me know what you guys we're really curious, actually. Awesome. I'll give that a couple more minutes or a couple more seconds here. Fantastic.
Unfortunately, Carson, we cannot vote as well. Only others. So
yeah, I know. All right, it looks like a good amount of us actually are pretty familiar with at least the basics of Monday.com. So that's great to see. I'll share this with everyone just so everyone kind of knows we're all on a level playing field here. So that's fantastic. We're really excited to kind of talk about Monday, and I look forward to sharing this with you guys. So without that, I'll pass it over on to Shaked and let him kind of jump into the Monday.com side of things.
Thank you so much. So it's a big pleasure to be here. I was like super excited to be invited by the Carbon's team, and we all see this partnership as a super strategic partnership between Monday.com and Carbon. So thank for everyone for finding the time and being here with us. We'll try to give you a great hour just ahead of us and a super exciting content to be shared. A little bit about my background. I've been at Monday for 2 years now. Throughout my career, I've done some product management, solution consulting, and basically B2B selling. So I'm highly familiar with the deployment, the digital transformation, and the automation it requires within different organizations worldwide to create that leap of faith and that organizational change that I believe we're all here to see and promote. So super excited to be here. And of course, we can also connect with LinkedIn. I'll be following up together with the Carbon's team on any action items and questions that might not get answered today. So we'll make sure we get them covered. Okay, so why don't we start from the very beginning? I would say, my apologies for my accent. I'm joining you from back in Israel. I'm based in Tel Aviv. So why don't we first, before we even talk about the product, right, talk about who's Monday, how did the Monday growth look like? And basically, we can answer and tackle any question from that moment on. I would say just before we start, I want this to be as tailor-made as possible, and every question is in place, of course. So feel free to drop any question that you have in the chat. We are also making sure, or closely monitoring the chat to make sure those things will get answers, and we'll have like plenty of time for questions and answer. Carson, in terms of planning the time, ideally, like how do you see it, or how much time would you like us to have the hands-on demo together with the team so we can divide it the right way?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you'll have plenty of time to kind of go through what you want, however you want to get through that content.
Excellent.
I think we'll have plenty of time.
Excellent. Okay, so a good thing we started on time. It's rarely happened, so that's good. So why don't we start? Why don't we start about talking like how Monday was established? So Monday has been around since 2014, and Monday basically started as what we call a no-touch organization from the B2C world. Okay, that basically means that originally Monday was created for small teams, for individuals, a few team members that wanted to improve the way they work together. However, Monday, we've done a long way ever since, and now it's enterprise ready. But before it happened, okay, Monday created a product which was easy to use, very visual, and it has its own stickiness. Users love to do it. I think that the very basic of each and every SaaS offering, and an organization today have 130 different SaaS offerings in a typical organization based on recent studies. I think the Monday secret, or the Monday secret sauce, was the fact that the system was so visual, so intuitive, so easy to use. But I think the reason why I'm telling you all that about the Monday journey is to understand, or to explain maybe, that we started what we call bottom up, right? We started from the users. We started from whoever want to use the system and want to make sure they get the most out of it, okay? And we evolved ever since. And the journey toward enterprises started only 3 years later in 2017, okay? Where we basically established our client-facing guild and built partnerships such as our valuable partnerships that we have together with the Carbon's team, okay? So when we started bottom up, we've created a lot of things. We got users' feedback and usability testing, and we've realized that the secret sauce is basically the fact that users like to use it. It's very intuitive, visual, and easy to set up. And we kept that along the way in the future growth of Monday, in a way that from the one hand, we can be enterprise ready and talk about the scales of hundreds of users and thousands of users. But from the other hand, users love to use it. And we see this viral nature of Monday in our day-to-day. We see that users that are not part of Monday, or not Monday.com members, we call them, they ask to be in Monday, because Monday very fast becomes that dance floor of the organization, the place where people want to be in order to take decisions, visualize data, and create a true impact on decision making and the way we automate things. Okay, so having said that, what we're seeing here on the graph chart is basically the exponential growth of Monday. I would say that Monday became public right in June 2021. We're traded in NASDAQ, and we're one of the 20th biggest Israeli customer worldwide. Okay, so one of the top 20 Israeli companies worldwide, and we see this growing like quarter over quarter. We are hyper growing, and when I say hyper growing, I'm not talking about 5 or 10%. I'm talking like closer to 3 digits, okay, based on our public financial reports. So it's in the area of anywhere between 90 to 95% quarter over quarter. And we're aiming to create basically a software or a platform, we call it, that will be able to impact the lives of billions worldwide. That's the mission. So we currently operate in 200 industries in around 190 countries worldwide. Okay. An important note here is that we play and we operate in the area of no code. which means that we truly believe that from the one hand, if there is some custom development needed, we can give a very strong framework to make it happen. We don't take the data hostage. We have a GraphQL API, and we consider our system to be an open system. However, in the no-code world, okay, which Gartner evaluated to be $50 billion by 2024, okay, that's basically the bread and butter of Monday, okay? Everything that you're about to see today, including automations and integrations, were all designed, as I started my 5 minutes ago, they were all designed bottom up. And we envisioned non-tech users or non-tech savvy users or industries using the product, and we wanted to give them something that will be easy and simple to use. We also didn't want to create a product that will take months or years to see the return of investment, right? Or to basically complete the deployment. So we wanted to have low TCO and we wanted to have high ROI, and that's basically was the main mission throughout the life of journey of Monday. One last statistic that we can see here, it's basically the growth in enterprise customers. So we do have to create or distinguish between what we call the no-touch B2C and the B2B. And the enterprise customer is basically booming worldwide. There's no other way to put it. We can see a triple-digit growth coming up in enterprise customer. This is also a metric we publish in our financial report, so you can find it yourself in our press releases and in our website. And I'm sure you're going to learn a lot from it. Last thing is about where we're located. So we're opening branches worldwide from Australia, New Zealand, up until the West Coast and San Francisco. So the global distribution, and that distribution or that tailor-made experience can be achieved by partners like Carbon, who knows the business and can be with you without my accent in your time zone, right? And they know the Monday system in and out, so they can basically advise and be that tier 1 and tier 2 to make those things achieved. As part of the partnership, we have a very unique model which allows both Monday to be engaged, but also Carbon to give you a smooth path and a smooth entrance into Monday so you can meet your business KPIs. Carlson, any questions from anyone? Anything you think I might have missed in terms of telling the Monday story so far?
I think you hit it right on the head. If anybody does have any questions, you guys can feel free to drop those in the chat. But I guess otherwise, if there are no questions, I think we would be okay to move forward.
Excellent. So that's me reminding you for the last time, I promise. If there are any questions, please submit them in the chat. And of course, every question is in place. At this point of time, why don't we go ahead and I'll simply share my screen and we can do some hands-on demo so we can get the look and feel of Monday and understand what it's all about. Okay. Let me know when you can see my screen, please. Can you see the Monday system?
Looks good to me.
Okay, excellent. So welcome to Monday. I'll turn off my video just because I'm looking on the bigger screen. I want you to have to hear me well, and we don't have any interruptions. So this is Monday.com. It's basically accessible via desktop, browser, and mobile. One of the things that I like about the mobile version is the fact that it basically allows us to stay on top of things, even if we're in an elevator or in an airplane, and if we don't have reception, there's the offline mode, which allows us to consume the data, and we can still get the status of where things at and work while we don't have connection, and that will be retrieved once we get there. So it's fully accessible for those of you who like their own desktop shortcut or their own desktop installation. That's available. Browser access is available, and we have an excellent experience in mobile. I do encourage you to go through and search for the Monday.com app in your, I would say, Galaxy Store or in your App Store, right? And see if you can see the reviews. In a scale of 1 to 5, it's usually on the high end because we do care a lot about the look and feel and the ease of use and the usability of things. And you will see that there's some great feedbacks on how users rate us in the scale of 4.8 or 4.9 the last time I've checked. Okay, so what we're seeing here on the left side of things, okay, that's basically what we call the navigation pane. The navigation pane allows us to basically create workspaces, and in turn, it allows us to create folders. This is what I call the logical architecture of Monday. And when more and more entities come into Monday.com, this basically allows us to governance the account and to make sure that things are basically established and built the right way. I would say that every type of board, and this is the logo, the icon of a board, basically have groups like what are the new requests. These are all called groups, and we can architect those groups. In the context of this board, this is basically a way or a surface, okay, or a pane of glass, which allows me to aggregate or intake new requests, do some post-processing about project request and to see if it's a go or a no-go, and that in turn will take them into the relevant groups and we'll start a workflow upon them, okay? So that's basically one way to architect a board. However, if I'll move to the portfolio board, which is a separate board, you will see that here I have a different architecture. The groups here basically are my planned projects, the active projects, and the ones which got completed, which is currently none because it's a relatively new company or a new scenario that I prepared for us for today. So what I'm trying to say here is that the architectural dimensions are the groups, right? The different columns, and we do have plenty of them. Like, and we'll talk a lot about the name of this webinar is, of course, how do we automate, and we put a lot around automation, but this is basically the template centers that tells us how the columns and we call them like structured metadata looks like, and you can see that there's like dozens, and everything that you can see here can basically be extended via the apps marketplace or API to create some more columns if we think they're needed, and that's something that Carbon are really familiar with. Okay, so there's the groups and there's the item names, as you can see here, right? And there's the columns, and you can see how visual, clean and well organized this is. Monday also provide the dimension of views, and we'll show them a few of you, but why don't we start with a live scenario? Because I don't want to be that one that keeps on talking and you keeps on watching. So what I've done, I basically shared with you a link in the chat, okay, to the form that you see here. So let's say we want to create a new project in an organization called CarbonWeb. We can basically specify and fill in a form, and that form can be filled in by anywhere in the world. You can build your own matrix on how you prioritize things, how strategic this project is, and when you want this project basically to start. Let's say we want this to start in the end of May. Okay, so forms is an important building block which allows us to intake, right? And get requests. Now, they can be requests, they can be surveys, they can be replies, they can be employee needs mapping. Basically, we can structure the unstructured, and we can determine what's required and what's not. We can change the logo to be organization logo, so we can change the look and feel here, and we can basically aggregate data in an easy way. That's our gatekeeper to build and structure processes, and upon them, we can basically build business workflow. So why don't we hit submit? You can, of course, in turn, create your own. Now we get a customized look and feel message, right? Again, it can be with your logo, your terminology. And even if you think about advanced scenarios such as conditional forms, for example, someone said he was happy with the service, we can ask him what made us operate or work so great. But if he wasn't so happy, we can ask him how we can improve for the next time. This is something we call conditional forms, and this is also supported within Monday. Okay, so you can see how easy it is to set the terminology, allow anonymous submissions, run surveys, hide logos or replace logos, and so on. But the main thing I want you to take out of what I've just done, and I can see someone already filled this in, so thank you for being engaged through this demo, is that the CarbonWeb request was created, and you can see that already powerful automations kicked in. The initiator, though I didn't specify that, is classified. So is the request date. That's today's date. I can see that all the information was already populated. The system already calculated in a scale of 1 to 10 what's basically the project score. And we can see that a new entry was classified as a new request. As a member of the committee approving projects, I can now start a workflow, and I can think, or I can classify this as something I want to consider, something I want to review and decide if it's a go or a no-go. And I can also change or decide if I want to allocate budget and specify exactly how much budget I want to allocate. For those of you who didn't specify an entry, you're more than welcome to do so. At this point of time, I will say that we already seen some automation, so maybe it will be a good time to explain what automations is. So automation is basically something that we really like, because first it allows us to be, or to keep that no-code, non-tech savvy world, right? And it allows us to do a series of different things as we want them to be, okay? So these are called notification, or these are called, sorry, automations recipe. They are no-code, and they come in the flavor of trigger and an action. Okay, so the trigger here is that whenever a date arrives, or before a date arrives, and we can even decide if that's days, weeks, months, and so on. Just in the simple example, whenever a date comes in, then we want to notify someone. Here we can personalize using each and every columns or templates that we have, and we can decide exactly who will be notified. We'll do one example together. Okay, and you can see how easy it is, or how intuitive this is to automate a process. And automating a process means who will get notified about things, rejected or approved. What will happen when a status changes within a specific request? How does the recurring tasks look like? Monthly, weekly, daily? How do we keep our eyes on the balls and we know exactly what's happening before Christmas and when we launch a new physical year? Due dates, creating items for us, but also cross departments or cross groups, so we can collaborate better with our peers. And of course, the custom no-code section where we can build our own automations. So this is the area where we save precious time. And this is the area where we can stop, as an organization, use or stop wasting time, right? And do things in a smarter way. There's lots of research about 50% is around manual work or rework. And the automation center is basically the place that will help you achieve that specific one. Any questions from anyone? Anything I might have missed? Okay, cool. So what we can see here is that the automation that they've classified the initiator and the request date and so on, that basically is now under consideration. It was moved automatically because I marked this to be a CarbonWeb under consideration project by changing a simple status, very easy. But you can see that some other things happen. First, the notification center is letting know the members of the committee that a new project request was created. Click here to review it. And I think this is one of the nice things about Monday is the collaboration element, or the in-context communication that it allows you to do, very similar to social media. I can advise with my peers and ask Tal, what do you think? We can reply, and see who've seen it. And that will be kept as an in-context communication from the date this request was even created. Let's assume for a sec we allocated $100,000 for this project. We've ran some votes and we did decide that it's a go, and we now approve this project to be the CarbonWeb project. The automation already moved it to be an approved project, as you can see here. But automations are not doing things only within the board or cross groups. They can do things between boards, which means between teams, between departments, between different entities. Let's open up the portfolio management. That's basically a board that overseeing or overshowing us what's the status of all the projects within a given portfolio. So now you can see that a new entry called CarbonWeb was created automatically because it was an approved project. So automation kicked in. I can assign a project manager. I can allocate a program, and in a very visual and clean way, I can see where I am in each one of my projects in the organization. Am I on track with the schedule? Are there active risks in the risk management methodology? Am I within the original budget? And so on. The date of 31st of May goes and flows through the workflow because that's what I filled in my form, and that's what was added into the portfolio. So the data, such as the budget or the date, flows through different departments. So the end goal of a project, which sometimes is very far away from what we aim for, basically remains the same. For those of you who are now saying, wait, but I don't want things to happen only within Monday. I want things to happen through email and some other software that we have. I would say that the no-code element is also available through the integration center. Very similar to the automation center, but it simply involves a third party outside of Monday. Okay, so let's assume you're a Microsoft suite and you're using Outlook. So here's an example of what we call integration recipes. things that happen between Monday to Outlook, right? And from Outlook to Monday. So again, there's like triggers and actions and a many-to-many relationship. But these are the things that save you precious time. Auto-responding to your contact us email, right? Auto-creating items or to-do lists and so on. So there's like very rich out-of-the-box integrations, and the Carbon team can help and assist if we do need a more custom development integration. But you can see probably a lot of the things that are currently within your ecosystem, and that is something that we can easily extend. The last thing I would say is that while we were talking, another magic happened, and not only we were able to do things within boards or cross groups, you can see that the CarbonWeb project, which was associated with the project manager with a very clear sense of ownership, also, and if I may kindly ask you to look here on the left, right, also created a board from a template, a project plan. You can see here that project CarbonWeb that you and I have created together and filled in within the form, an entire template to run this project, including dependencies, milestones, GANs, workload, everything was pre-populated. So the entire end-to-end workflow from initiating a project until getting it approved and associating it with a portfolio and building it up from a template happened in minutes. What are templates? Templates are basically boards that allows us to automate things. So here I can see my entire methodology for, let's say, Agile or Kanban and so on. I do want you to understand that from everything I'm showing that an item can be whatever we want it to be. And with a click of a button, we can basically, the same way that Carbon have done, we can basically package strong offering through different use cases. So the same way I'm doing project management, it could have been CRM, marketing, and anything else you have in mind. Any type of template, which basically includes all of the dimensions and the building blocks that you shape, can be accessible to anyone in your company. And you don't need Carbon or Monday.com to assist. So you become self-sufficient and you can build your own process and respond to regulation and changes and the market as it requires to move fast. I'll pause here for one more time. I think we're left with like 5 more minutes. Any other questions, at least from my end, right? Any other questions or comments from anyone? Anything I might have missed so far? Anything from the Carbon team?
Other than it does look like Hood did ask which version of Monday.com are we looking at, if this is Pro or Enterprise?
Okay, so we're currently looking on the enterprise version. Okay, that's what we're currently saying. I would say that it's not something visual that you'll immediately see, but what we're currently seeing, that's Partner Solution Suite, which is being used by available partners. That's an enterprise instance. So thanks, Odd, for asking the question, and I hope I answered. Anything else from anyone? Cool. Carson, are we okay if I'll take 7 more minutes? I just don't want to extend my time here.
Yeah, I think that we're right on track. That'd be okay.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Great. After we've seen these things and we've seen how a new project can be created via an automation in such easy way, let's see how that magic basically happened. And I think this showcased the true power of automation. Whenever a project manager got assigned, that was basically the trigger. Changes to yes, like a project manager was assigned and we know who that project manager is. We want to create a new board from a template and we want to create it within the account under the live project section. Here's the audience of who that board will be. And that's part of any one of the templates that I have within the account. So you can see how flexible and how open the system is. It doesn't require, you don't need to be a developer to understand what's going on. You can basically, and as long as you understand the business and what you want to achieve, the system will help you get there. So it's for the notification, because the project manager will get a customized message saying, we've already prepared a board for you to run that project, and we will already assist you with a pre-configured template. This is what you can see here in the notification center. That happened automatically. So individuals, very similar to the social media concept, can see new tasks that were assigned to them, where they were mentioned, what was unread, and so on. Last thing I want to show you in terms of the individual project management is the fact that we have if I'll open up, let's go from here, is that besides the table or the spreadsheet lookalike, there's much more to it. Okay, we won't cover this all today, but we can produce Gantt right? Which are basically areas or workspaces where we can communicate with our colleagues, change the status of items, change the dates of things, right? So these are all powerful workspaces. So the name view might be misleading, but this allows us to see dependencies and milestones and get a true understanding of who's doing what over time. This is being used by one of the cruise companies in the US to staff their contact center. And there's a public available video on YouTube that you can watch. The forms can also be used to intake new requests, but you can also run your Kanban daily meetings on the daily progress of this project. So lots of other dimensions beyond the items and the templates. So we can basically build your own screen. We allow you to do the changes in the way that it's convenient for you. And if we think about it, the information technology industry that was very close to changes, and every change required a lot of time and a lot of money, is now being revolutionized, right, by an open no-code system like Monday or as others, which basically allows to bring the business the keys to achieve what they want from the one hand, but from the other hand, we want to keep it well secured from the IT perspective. Two last things that I wanted to show you today. The first thing is basically the portfolio dashboard, and the portfolio or the dashboards are basically the visualization and reporting element of Monday.com. These are the places where we can get that executive summary of where things are. This is the television screen that we can present in our office. So if I click here on the television mode, I can see a clear understanding of the project's health for my strategic project. Where are they in terms of schedule, scope, risk, and so on. And again, from here, I can keep on communicating. And if I feel like Tal need to be looped in, I can loop her in. And if I feel like everyone on this item needs to know something, please make sure to update it all, and so on. So these are things that I can do. So it's not only views, it's much more than that. It's a powerful tool to modernize your communication, to stay on top in terms of budget and who's doing what, and basically see what's the upcoming plan that we have. I would say that each and every persona can basically slice and dice. So there's the portfolio owned by the portfolio manager, but you will see now that I will see a subset of what I've seen before, like only Project Charlie, Delta, and Foxtrot, because that's the persona, the programmer. And a project manager, which in turn will only want to see its own specific project. So each persona can basically slice and dice, zoom in and zoom out as needed. In the context of automation, we can basically share it with people inside and outside of our organization. And that's true for anything on Monday, because we truly believe in calibration. We can also schedule email notifications. So the weekly report can be automated to become or to be sent by email weekly, daily, or monthly. So there's like lots of things that we can do to save the need for constant meetings, constant updates, and constant emails. Last but not least, I would say that we have here the My Work pane of glass, which is personally my favorite, because it allows each and every individual in the organization to get visibility across whatever they're doing. I have almost 400 tasks overdue. I'm probably not going to be the employee of the month, right? I know that I have 2 different things that I have to do this today. That's planned for this week, and this is how the future looks like. So Monday basically aggregates and allows us to, in a very complex environment, to stay on top of what needs to do, by whom, with whom, and what's the exact status. And we can even communicate upon that status and decide like why this is stuck and why this needs to move forward. And that's something that the individuals and the users really like, because it allows them some certainty and visibility about what's coming up. Everything we've seen was in the hat of or in the dimension of project management, but I would say that this is the easiest to explain and to see on a webinar. But I've seen the offering of Carbon, and it's amazing. This can go to CRM, this can go to software development, marketing, and so on. So there's like a long tail of things that we can do. But I think the real-time data of dashboards and the panes of glass that you've seen is basically that can be a game changer, hopefully, for you. And we're here to make this happen. Any last questions from anyone? Anything I might have missed before I hand it over back to the Carbon's team? Okay, thanks a lot, Carbon team. Back to you.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Shaked. That was great. Ms. Jack, we can turn it over to you.
Fantastic. If you want to go ahead and reshare your screen. Awesome. All right. So thank you, Shaked. Thank you for that amazing demo on Monday.com. I hope for everybody out there that at least, improved their understanding of Monday.com, or it may have been your first look into the actual platform. And like he said, the amazing UI and just the consumability of it is amazing. So a little bit about what I'm going to be going over the next couple of slides. It's going to be really, what are the CarbonWeb suites? What do they mean in Monday.com? Why are they so important? And, why should they be important to you guys in general? And finally, how can you actually deploy one of CarbonWeb's first suites into your own Monday.com ecosystem? So that will be kind of what we're going over through here. A little bit about myself, who I am, what I've done over here at CarbonWeb. So I am the CEO and founder, but that's really not important. The more important thing is that I have helped and developed the CRM suite that we will be going over today. That really, utilized a lot of my sales experience building the sales team with CarbonWeb to actually create this product. And yeah, it will have a lot of value in general on the CRM suite. So before we hop into things, I do want to take a little bit of a poll. I know we have a lot of productive people out there, so I want to make sure this is the most beneficial use of your time. So this next poll will kind of help me tailor the next segment that we have going on here. So if you wouldn't mind voting on what department you're joining us from, that would be fantastic. Awesome. Give it about 10 more seconds. Make sure everybody gets their vote in there. All right, Carson, if you want to go ahead and close that out for us, and let's display what we saw here. Awesome. All right. So we've got a wide spread of people today. We've got a decent amount of sales and operations side of things, which is great to see. That is kind of the direction in which this next segment is going to go towards. So this will definitely be beneficial, but I promise that everybody here will benefit from it. So that's amazing. And let's hop into what exactly makes up a CarbonWeb suite and why are they important. So the first and really key factor of a CarbonWeb suite is the fact that they're end-to-end solutions. The idea of an end-to-end solution is that it is not just going to solve one small issue within your process. It wants to solve the entire component, really wants to fill that gap in your business. It's a little bit different than Monday's templates. While that may be one small component and using those templates together could create this larger solution, the CarbonWeb suites come ready to deploy as living, breathing components in your ecosystem. And another really important and great way of putting this is that they are battle tested. I can't say that enough. These things have been through the ringer. We've made sure everything is going to work properly. And that really allows for us to lay a fantastic foundation so that when it comes to you, you can focus on what I like to call the more fun part of things, actually tailoring your system. The tailoring is really just taking that foundation, like I mentioned, and making it your own. I like to make the analogy of it's a house. You're moving into the house, you're picking out the curtains, you're decorating the carpet, whatever it may be, you're making it your own solution. And that's what's important. As a business owner or somebody leading the operations charge, you should have the flexibility to change this end-to-end solution to really match your company's style. And that's something we definitely try to hold true. And even more so to that, moving on to what we like to call the flavor side of things. So this is another way we want to make that tailoring process a little bit smoother for you by giving you even more of a jump start into things that is more specific to your guys' verticals. So as we sell more suites, as we work with more amazing companies, we learn how we can make these suites a little bit more like what you're looking for in your industry. And that's why we've gone and called them flavors. And hopefully as we grow, we will have more and more flavors for you guys to have a jump start in to your specific vertical. So without further ado, moving into what CarbonWeb's first actual suite is, it's the CarbonWeb CRM Suite. There's a lot of reasons we began with the CRM as our first suite. There was a lot of suggestions, a lot of polls we took across custom work we've done, all sorts of different things. But why we settled on the CRM to really be that first component we hone in on is because in a lot of companies, the sales process is the start of everything. And so we really wanted to be able to build that first block in your guys' process. So then from there, you're able to add more blocks on. If you take a look at this fantastic graphic down here in the right corner, you'll see that it's a block on a grid. This has a lot of meaning to it. It's not just a simple design. The idea behind this is that you're able to continuously add more of these suites as blocks on top of each other. And by starting again with the CRM suite, this has allowed us to then be able to bridge between these blocks very seamlessly. So I'm very excited. I want to give a quick shout out to my team. It took a lot of work from every end of things to be able to provide this CRM suite so battle tested, so ready to go, all the way from the amazing graphics that I hope you guys all like, all the way to the one-pagers that we produced on the sales team. So really amazing work there. And we hope more suites are to come, but let's hop into what actually makes up a CRM suite and what are those key features. Before we get into any of the key features, I do want to say that they are all built on that amazing Monday.com platform that Shaked gave a great demo on. What I mean by this is that they all empower those key features that Monday has, such as seamless team communication, being able to log all of your data, and most importantly, that ability to, like I mentioned, tailoring it using Monday's sandbox ability. So hopping into what is the first key feature in the Carbon CRM, we are talking about cold prospecting. The idea behind cold prospecting is the initial spot in any sales process for a lot of people. And this is, in our way, a lot of power outreach, hitting a lot of different records you may obtain from different places, just trying to really engage for the first time with those people so that you're able to move them on to the bread and butter, the key factor of this CRM, the active deals pipeline. What is the active deals pipeline? Well, this is the progression of a prospect from point A to point Z, pretty much. Really being able to understand what their needs are, being able to assign what products or services you're going to be selling these clients, and then actually being able to automatically generate those proposals, those invoices, and send them out to the client. So that way you're able to hit that amazing status, green status of a won deal and really celebrate in that regard. And once you do win that deal, comes what I like to think is the most important part of any good CRM, which is the relationship management end of things. I think it's very common working with multiple different sales teams that a lot of people forget that reoccurring business can really make up a large majority of selling your services and products. And within our Carbon CRM, we really like to push this forward to your guys' reps, to yourself, whoever it may be, by providing automatic follow-up, providing ways to communicate with the clients. All of these small features that make up this relationship management system that really allows for you to build that ongoing relationship so that when you call up a client, you're not calling them up to just sell them another service. You're calling them up to have a conversation that you've been having with them each month ongoingly. So very important stuff there. However, moving on to something that I know a lot of sales administrators out there will really benefit from, as well as sales reps themselves, is the advanced customizable metrics. Every single point that I just talked about is being tracked within Monday.com. And what that allows you to do is use that splice and dice that Shaked mentioned to really create your own dashboard with all of your key KPIs that you want to see, all the way from how many emails were sent out that month to the exact amount of dollars that were sold that month in your system. So really all of this comes together to formulate an amazing dashboard that you can use to instill a little bit of competition throughout your sales team in the office by putting it on a TV, but also give you that real key insight into who's performing the best, where do we see bottlenecks, where are there issues to resolve. So all that being said, I know I just went over a lot of different key features, and I promise I really just skimmed the top of them. So if you guys are interested in having a little bit more of a closer look into this system, me and Ricky both run a fantastic demo where we'll actually get down and dirty in Monday.com, show you guys the actual system, really go over all those features in depth. So please scan the QR code or shoot Ricky an email. I promise he's pretty friendly. So go ahead and do that. And we'll make sure to get you guys booked as soon as we can to go in more depth. But yeah, I'm going to turn it over to Ricky now to kind of explain what that process looks like when you scan that QR code a little bit more. So take it away, Ricky.
Awesome. Thank you, Jack. And hello, everybody. Very excited to get into this all with you guys and explain a little bit about the way we work with the Monday.com community. So as Jack said, my name is Ricky Tomer, and I'm the VP of Sales here at CarbonWeb. Ever since we dove headfirst into working with the Monday.com community, creating effective and optimized workflows and solutions has really always been our goal. We really feel that our expertise comes from our own personal usage and through a creative client-first approach. So as we get into the idea of what our process is here at CarbonWeb, this top line on this slide here really kind of tells it all. The idea of transparency being key. We want to make sure that we have a firm understanding of what your needs are when it comes to building a solution and making sure that we're transparent with you on the ways that we're going to get that done. I think obviously it's important for you to communicate your process to us so that we can understand what we're doing as solution builders. So I think it's important that we take the time to explain ours. So getting into the very first step here, it's really all about the idea of an exploration. More than anything, we want to get an understanding of the validity of the project you're trying to get done. Does it all make sense? Does it make sense to use Monday.com as your platform? Does it make sense to use CarbonWeb as the company that's going to assist you? More than anything, we want to make sure we gather a firm understanding of everything that's going on so we can communicate the ways that we would develop these solutions to you. From that, immediate exploration would go into an actual demo. Now, this could be a few different things. We might be demoing the suites that we've developed, such as the CRM suite, or maybe we're just taking a look at Monday.com as a whole, kind of like Shaked showed us. Really, more than anything, though, it's about building your knowledge so that you can continue on appropriately. And from there, it moves on to onboarding. And that's really just what it sounds like. Our team is going to work with you directly to make sure that you're set up on the platform, ready to start engaging with what's there. Now, from that, there is some tailoring that could come with it. And this comes into customization. Not every solution with Monday.com is one size fits all. There's a lot of difference in industries and verticals and roles. And we want to make sure that we can build on and tailor the solutions that we've developed to be specific to your business so that it's ready-made and usable on day one of your usage there. Now, from that, we move on to just simple training. What we want to do is showcase what we've developed for you so that you can translate it not only to your team, but also to future employees, because this is something that we see longevity with. We want it to be a cornerstone of what your business is doing into the future. And on top of that, we'll also provide some documentation there. So as time goes on, you can always refresh what you're doing and understand what is there. But other than that, we would move on to what is known as a new component, which continues on into our component by component process. I want to make sure I can explain to everyone. So if we think about the way that companies utilize CarbonWeb, it's broken down into three specific categories. The first one being that about 10% of our customer base utilize this component by component style. So kind of going back to what I said previously, it's really the idea that not everything is one size fits all. And on top of that, we feel that large scopes of work take away from ultimately creativity and flexibility of Monday.com as a platform. So we want to take this work and break it down into manageable chunks. This allows us just to stay focused on the task at hand. And again, it allows you to think about everything creatively within your process so that you're always thinking about what the next step is and what's most important. Ultimately, thinking about changing your process and your workflows can spiral out of control. And ultimately, we want to avoid that. Now, the next step of this would be about 50% of our customer base. These are entities that are utilizing the suites that we've developed. So the CRM suite being the first one that we're getting onto the marketplace. We're finalizing a few more at this time. And we kind of take this in the idea of that Monday users do tend to be fairly tech savvy. And more than anything, they're looking for a foundation that they can then build on as they develop their process out more. So from there, scaling up is really the sky's the limit, and it can be very rapid, it can be very exciting. And we're really eager to see how people take these suites and build on top of them. Now, from there, it's really the largest part of our base, which is 90% are just Monday.com users themselves. So as a certified partner of Mondays, we obviously see a ton of value in the platform itself. But being that Monday is a cloud-based work OS, it's really up to you, the user, to take it and expand on it. And as you start to learn automations, you tie in your business tools, and you ultimately just improve your day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month process. You ultimately just gain continual ROI as you develop the platform further. So I really can't stress enough the time save that comes with Monday once you really hone in on the process. And more than anything, I'm really excited to hopefully see some of you taking the leap to see what you can create within the platform itself. So a couple things I want to make sure that we just remind everybody as we kind of get towards the end of this here. We are offering a few discounts right now. So if you follow the QR code that's at the bottom here, and there will also be one on the next screen, we do have 10% discount for new enterprise licenses. We're often offering a $25 discount on some of our hourly services. And we also have a free to-do template that our team utilizes every day to stay on top of everything that everybody's got going on. So I want to make sure that we also put that nice and big on the screen here so that everybody can scan and get their free gifts. Additionally, my contact information will be there if anybody's got any questions that they want to take offline and have some time to discussing. But while everybody kind of scans that, again, I want to thank everybody for being here. And in a second here, I want to turn it over to our COO, Mitch McLaughlin, to open up the floor for some questions.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, Ricky. And again, thank you, Shaked, Jack, Carson. I think we had some great presentations here to see, Monday natively, how it could be used, and then also some of the pre-built solutions, like the CRM Suite that we're building out. I spend most of my day building custom solutions on top of the platform. So definitely knowledgeable when it comes to things we could do within Monday. With that being said, does anyone have any questions that they want answered? Can this replace, so let's see, Marcus here. It's all right, no worries. We actually have a recording of the video. It did start at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time, but we will send over a recording to you. So Carson will make sure to get that over your way. But can this replace HubSpot CRM? And if so, what's the price? Well, for one, we could talk about the price. Rick can kind of help you with that. But HubSpot CRM, yes, it certainly can. Monday.com can be used as a CRM, and that's something that Jack had kind of talked about with the custom suite that we've built on top of it. And recently, I've actually done a few transitions from HubSpot CRM, and we can even import your current data from HubSpot into Monday to make that process as smooth as possible.
Awesome. And then it looks like we have another question regarding the training. They're curious about what would the training of the CRM include, or I guess in our process in general.
Yeah, so we sell the suite in a few different ways. The first way is you can just get it and kind of set it up yourself with some documentation provide. And the second way would be kind of more of a custom kind of like onboarding process where we actually sit down on a few meetings together and we run through, what does your business need? How do we need to curtail it to your business? And then from there, we can teach you how to use it. Maybe even make a few custom like documentation videos, add some additional integrations to it to really get your business on the way.
And then just following up on that, Mitch, is there an additional cost to that?
Yeah, so like I said, you could buy the CRM Suite by itself, or you can buy, we actually sell like a bundle, I believe, right, Ricky, that includes training on top of the suite itself. And then we could also do, more services after that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Awesome. All right, and then we got a couple more in-depth questions here.
Taking a second to read them, yes. Where do data migrations and integrations fit into the process? Yeah, this is great. Exactly. So the way that we like to do it, great question, Max, because no one wants dark days or downtime in the transition. Say we're coming from HubSpot, let's take that example. We like to, I like to build in a separate environment. So we'll set you up on Monday. You can start playing around with it, and then we'll start building out this, say it's a CRM for you. As we're building that out, you keep using HubSpot the entire time. There's no reason to like have a hard switch right away, because then you'll be lost and confused. At Ascend, we don't want that. We want to mitigate that as much as possible. We want your business to stay as afloat as it can during this transition time. So what we'll do is we'll actually build it out side by side, and then we'll test it together. And once we're good, that's when we'll do the data transition. We can do them at night. We could do them over the weekend. And then you would come in, say the next morning or the next day, and then you're just fully using Monday. And at that point, you can turn HubSpot off. As far as timeline goes, it really all depends on the project itself. If we're doing just a simple CRM suite, it might take a week, maybe a little bit less even. But if we do like some of the bigger projects, we're really customizing a whole system for you. It's kind of it's a longer process, because not only do we have to build it, we have to test it, we have to ensure it works, we have to train maybe a whole team of other employees. You could be looking at a couple of weeks or so. And then there's also ongoing changes we can do. That's one of my favorite parts about Monday is besides them always changing and adding new features to the platform, your business is always changing. And we can kind of make those two work together, where we can update your system as your business changes, your process changes, you bring new people into the system. I hope that answers that question.
Awesome.
Hey, quickly, I can take Marcus's question real quick, just because I know he and I actually connected last week. Marcus is really just asking about the way that the CRM can be utilized as a one-stop shop for everything. CRM definitely can be. Marcus, for you specifically, I want to say I'll reach out to you after this. Let's make sure that we can get you on a demo this week so that you can showcase how that would be utilized.
Perfect. Yeah, looking forward to seeing that come through, hopefully.
Awesome. And then I guess we have a couple follow-ups regarding how PhoneBurner connects to the CRM, our PhoneBurner app.
Right. Yeah, and we actually have not discussed that in this webinar at all, but we do have another app with a partner company called PhoneBurner that can be used as an add-on or an extension of the CRM, allowing you to mass dial. So PhoneBurner is a auto dialing, mass dialing program. And Ricky also has a demo for that he can walk you through. But basically, in short, it allows you to take your CRM and the contacts there, run them through a call list, and then get their statuses, dispositions back into Monday using some integrations.
Awesome. And then where is data stored from the old system? I guess we may need a little bit more detail on that specific question. I guess, are you asking like where does the data from before Monday? Yeah.
Right. So if we're talking about a transfer, let's say again, let's say it's coming from HubSpot over to Monday. The data, like we would just take a copy of it basically. Same thing, you might have an Excel sheet right now. You might use Google Sheets as a CRM. We've seen that a lot too. We import it in, but we're never going to remove it from the old system. That's kind of for you to determine when you feel comfortable enough with the new system we've set up and within Monday to keep everything in line there.
Awesome. Awesome.
Great.
Well, it seems like the questions have slowed. Oh, actually, just kidding. There's another one. All right. Do any projects require Monday dev information?
Another great question. I think Shaked, you did a really nice job. So we're asked here, does it always require a Monday dev or implementation team to be involved? And Shaked's part did a really nice job of showing something that's more native in Monday, right? I think a user themselves could really pick that up and do it. And that's the idea behind our CRM suites too, a little bit more tailored so you could pick it up and just run through a few steps. But I know Monday's working really hard on some more products and stuff along that line, because we want to stay with that low code, no code as much as possible. Although, like I said, I spent a lot of my time making custom projects, but no, we want to reduce the amount of effort another team or third party has to put in when coming to Monday.
Awesome.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I think Ricky, you and Marcus should connect this week, and then maybe you could run through a few more specific questions. Marcus, I'm happy to help out with those too. But I think we should kind of, look at your system, what you're looking to do as far as bringing it from HubSpot to Monday, and then we can maybe have a little bit more of a custom conversation, if that makes sense. But yeah, if anyone else has any more questions that they come up with after or in the future, you can email Ricky, you can email any of us here at CarbonWeb. And like Carson said, he can kind of wrap things up here, but we're definitely gonna have a recording of this so you can watch and see what we had done.
Yeah, absolutely. So if anybody does want the recording and you guys weren't registered ahead of time, just send an email to Ricky. We'll have your email and we'll be sure to follow up with you guys and make sure you get that recording. But otherwise, I just want to show you guys this one more time just to make sure that if you guys want to claim, you're more than welcome to. We want to make sure you guys, are rewarded for giving us your time. We want to give you something to say thank you. And I really appreciate everybody tuning in here. If anybody else wants to say anything else before we get out of here, feel free. But if not, this has been a pleasure.
Thanks, the Carbon team, for inviting me, and looking forward for some questions and follow up from the audience. Thanks for your time from the Monday.com team as well.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone. Mitch and I will hang out for a couple extra minutes here just in case any other questions do pop up. But otherwise, that's everything. We appreciate everybody being here.
Thank you.